Guys, we got a brand new balance patch. Patch notes just dropped. Got some buffs, got some nerfs. It should be a fun one. First, we have some brand new Transmogs as well. The winter-themed... Is this the first winter-themed Transmogs? We got a Pioneer, and we have two Polar Queens. It's not two Polar Queens. We got a Pioneer. The Pioneer looks great. And then we have a String Master and an Onmyuji. Both of them look like Polar Queens. They look good, though. No issues there. The Pioneer... This is my favorite Pioneer Transmog so far. I can already tell. I don't need to see the animations yet. I can already tell it's my favorite one because I've been looking for a good Pioneer Transmog. And I'm like, I don't really want to transmog the one that we, with the stuff that we have. So let's get on to the actual balance patch. We don't need to dwell too much on the transmogs. We'll see them a little bit more when we come out. Monster skill balancing. First one on the list, Light Panda Warrior. Strong energy passive is nerfed. Your attack bar will increase. He's still strong. Attack bar will increase by 20%, is now 15% when an enemy uses an attack bar increasing skill. He is, in my opinion, the strongest. He doesn't work against every comp if the opponent's not using turn cycling stuff, but they're almost always using turn cycling stuff. So for me, like, man, that Light Panda Warrior is... I always feel like it's an insta-ban just based on the way that I play. So 20%, 15%. I know Light Panda Warrior owners are not going to be happy with that, but he is a ridiculously OP unit. He counters so much stuff. Especially the current meta, like just turn cycling. He counters a lot of that stuff. So he's like one of those like must-ban units if you pick him out at the very end. And then we have the... I mean, we already talked about it in a video, like how OP he is, along with some other stuff. We have the Water Mage. A lot of people asking for the Water Mage to get nerfed. I don't know if that's necessarily the nerf that they wanted on it, but at least Comtois is... And I gotta say, Comtois is actually paying attention to what people like, what the most picked units are, what the highest win rate units are, what the things that, you know, are higher on the tier list, and they're actually listening. I gotta give them credit. They're actually listening to what the community feels like. Then we have it's a small nerf. It's still gonna revive things. You know, you're still playing a 5v4 battle if you're doing RTA against a Nana, but at least it's, you know, reasonable to try to take something out, more reasonable to try to take something out a little bit faster after that. So then we have the Oracle. Light Oracle, not all of them, just the light one. Immunity on all allies for 1 turn is now 2 turns. I feel like that's fair. That's a great buff. So those were the only, maybe those were the only 2 nerfs. We'll see. But I feel like that Light Oracle is, I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair for her. Chimera All Trample, that's their first skill. Effect added, damage increases. Are you telling me that the continuous damage with skill 1 wasn't enough? Man, people greedy nowadays. Damage increases, the enemy's HP status decreases. That's interesting. I want to see how well that scales. I'm not sure how that's going to scale. Crush for the water one. Skill activation condition change, freezes for 1 turn. Guarantees to freeze the target enemy for 1 turn. Resistance ignored. That's going to be nice. Is that going to make it super meta? Probably not. It's just going to make it more reliable for the people that are using it. Fire Chimera Collapse provokes for 2 turns now. That's going to be nice. I feel like that one's going to be more impactful. It's going to be nasty. Then we have the Light One Holy Calling, decrease the attack bar of all enemies. So it's a stun. It's an AoE stun, and then it's also a speed buff for your allies, and then also decrease attack age. So stun and decrease attack age, which is just even better. Man, I would love one of those. Fire Onmyuji buffs. Look at all these Onmyuji buffs. Water, Light, Dark. All these Onmyujis get buffed. Okay, Yin Yang Bounded Circle, that's the 3rd skill. Absorb the attack bar by 10%, is now 15% for each turn of the harmful effects on the target. So my issue with this was not that it didn't absorb the attack age enough. It's that if there was not debuffs, like something had to set it up. You had to have a specific comp with it so that it didn't really do anything by itself. Like you had to have lots of debuffs before, like strips and debuffs before it even got a turn. And it was very strong when it actually got a turn, but in that specific situation. But it was just like it required a lot of setup, and you really couldn't use it in RTA. I don't think that this is going to be still usable in RTA as it is, because she needs to do something by herself. It wasn't really that this part. I mean, at least they're acknowledging that this unit needed to be improved. But it is potentially like they could make it too OP if they improve it too much, because she does have a speed lead, which is already very, very strong of a unit. Just having a speed lead makes a unit potentially like something to look at. But she just, the thing with skill 3 is she just didn't do anything by herself. She needed something to set her up before she moved, and that's what was making her weak. So she still does need some kind of debuff on the 3rd skill. On Miyuji, Water and Light Past Life spell decrease the skill cooldown time by 1 turn when used on a living ally. Okay, so for her death prevention buff, because you could use it on something that's currently alive and it just has this soul protect. So you get less cooldowns. Okay, that's nice. It's not anything crazy game breaking. Curse of Death, effect added. The target defeated by Curse of Death cannot be revived during battle. That's nice for the dark on Legion. Not too many people have that. But we also have a Karma buff. Okay. Fire, Wind, and Dark Karma. Effect added removes the targeted enemy's 1 beneficial effect. Removes a beneficial effect first and then suppresses the target. What is the base speed, actually? That's nice. That's actually nice. I think that Karma should last 1 more turn. What do you guys feel about it? Am I crazy for thinking Karma should last 1 more turn? I think that we're in a good, like we're a step in the right direction. But I think if we make Karma 1 more turn with the remove beneficial effect, that could be the thing. That's just what I'm thinking. Because I really feel like that might be the thing that really makes Karma usable. It's just that 1 more turn. At least they're addressing some of these units that need some improvement, right? Even if it's not necessarily the things that I would do or the things that I feel are the best buffs, at least they're addressing them. So, on Miyuji, Fire, Wind... Oh, that's already read that. Water, Phoenix, Fusion Monster, Ice Volcano. Freeze for 1 turn if you get a critical hit is now freeze for 1 turn without any condition. And then the water, another one for 2 Sigmar's buffs, man. Skill activation condition, change freeze for 1 turn if you get a critical hit is just any condition. So it's just freezes and freezes. That's for skill 2 and skill 3. Ice Volcano skill 3, Frozen Orb is skill 2. Phoenix, Light Phoenix, Holy Orb, stuns for 1 turn if you get a critical hit is now stuns without any condition. Fire Phoenix, Eternity passive activation effect change, recover the HP of other allies. Yourself excluded by 10% is now recovers the HP of all allies. Wait, what? Other allies is now all allies. Is this a 2v2 buff? It looks the same to me. Recover the It's just other allies is now all allies. It just looks like it may be a buff for 2v2. Then we have Flame Nova. Removes the target enemy's 1 beneficial effect. So an extra... You couldn't give it a defense break? No. It would already set itself up for a big damage. Move beneficial effects. What is this specifically? What are they feeling that this is specifically supposed to be for, though? Because you need to strip and then defense break first to do the big damage. So I don't really think that the strip is going to be the thing that's like, wow, that makes it crazy. I don't really see this being too beneficial. No pun intended, because it's a beneficial effect. Purifying Blade. It's buffs, but they buffed those. They buffed the Phoenixes in the last balance patch too. Was it the last one or the one before that? They buffed their base speed. If you guys didn't know, guys like, oh, I knew my things were speed tuned incorrectly now. Purifying Blaze, decreased defense for 1 turn is now 2 turns. I feel like that's super fair. Water Dress for the light Phoenix. That's nice. Water Dragon, Snowstorm, effect added, increase the turn of freezing effect up to 2, 60% chance if you attack the frozen enemy. That could be nasty. Finally, we see it's been so long since we've seen a Water Dragon buff. That's actually incorrect because we saw a skill 1 buff to change what it's based on. And then Fire Dragon, Cyros buff. So we got dragon buffs, guys. We got Phoenix buffs, we got dragon buffs. Let's see what else we get. They're buffing a lot of the old units. We've seen the Valkyria buffs in the last one as well. So, Fire Dragon, Rain of Fire, inflicts continuous damage is now 35% chance. Effect added, increase the enemy's cooldown time by 1 turn with a 10% chance. Per hit or just with the skill overall? That would be nasty, but you know, it's nice to see Zaros getting a buff. Especially with the, Shangpeng meta and the Fire Secretary being so strong, and then also the Dark Pixie as well. So what do we have for this next one? Wind Dragon. Thunder Break, decrease the enemy's attack speed is now... effect added. So that's for skill 2. Does damage based on the enemy's max HP and also does an attack power break. So now it is going to attack power break and attack speed break as well. 40% chance. Light Dragon Holy Light is the cleanse and heal. Recovery amount proportion to the ally's max HP. Sorry, the ally's HP is now proportion to caster's max HP. So just a bigger heal. I'm sure they're very excited about. I'm sure they're not very excited. Light Dragon owners are a little bit excited about that. Like, oh, you know, it's nice. Not game-changing, but it's nice. Dark Dragon. Dark Storm stuns with a now 25% chance. Effect damage increased by 50% if the target is under inability effects. You just keep buffing the Dark Dragon. People keep complaining. And then they're like, no, buff him more. Buff him more. Buff him more. There we go. Dark Dragon is one of those units that I've wanted for a while. He's got to be on my... I know some people don't like him, but he's got to be on my like most wanted LV list. Not like the top, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, but maybe like 10, 9, 8, something like that. Okay, so then we have the Light Ifrit. Master of Magic power is now increase your attack speed by 5 for each beneficial effect granted on allies. So this is granted on all allies up to 100. I was gonna say it's similar to Chilling, but it's all allies. So I wonder how nasty that's actually gonna be. Wait a second. Because this is... So this guy could be super crazy fast. Like, he could move before... Like, if your team has Will Runes and you have him on Swift, he could move before everything else. There's not really a benefit to that, but he could move before everything else. Or you could put him on Violent, and he could still be faster than people's Swift units. The way I'm reading this, right? It would only... Well, Shield. Will and Shield. Bring him with Will and Shield, and that would be a 40 attack speed buff at the beginning of the battle. 40 extra speed. So if he's like 280 on Violent, then he's now 220 on Violent. I mean, 320 on Violent. That's interesting. Okay, then we have the Water Druid, Druid's Wit passive. Effect adder removes all harmful effects granted on yourself and allies' HP. This is nice. Okay, this is a nice one. Removes all harmful effects. So something gets attacked. Like, let's say for example, you get stunned. Your Water Druid gets stunned. The ally takes some damage. He buffs his attack bar. Before he was just buffing his attack bar, and then if he's stunned, if he's not violent proccing, then he doesn't really get a turn to do his heal. But now he just cleanses himself. So that's really nice. That's going to be actually noticeable. Recover all harmful effects. Remove all harmful effects granted on yourself and ally falls HP. Allies HP falls. So that's including, like, even if it's not stuns, it's like bombs, defense breaks, like anything. That's pretty nice. Fire Druid. Did he really even need a buff? Nature Beast passive effect added counterattacks with 100% chance if the provoked target attacks you. That's nasty. It's not 100% provoke though. So it's just 100% counterattack now, which is going to be nasty. Polar Queen Water Frost Rush effect added gains another turn instantly if the enemy is frozen after. Oh my god. So she's just getting another turn regardless. If it's either frozen or if it's Wait. It says if the enemy is frozen after the attack. It doesn't necessarily say that she has to be the one that freezes it. Does she have to be the one that freezes it? I guess we'll find out. We'll test it. We'll find out. But that would be an interesting thing to know. Because, like, what if you use her with something that freezes? What if you use her with a Tyrant or a Varad or something like that? Then she gets turned regardless, even if she doesn't kill things the first time. So, that's pretty nice. Waterwind Dark Storm of Midnight. That's the skill 2. Attack will always land as a critical hit if the enemy has no beneficial effects. So you just run Tiana with a whole bunch of crit damage. I mean, I was running it before with a whole bunch of crit damage anyway, but even more so now. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Samurai Sword Supreme Skywolf effect added grants immunity for 1 turn. Okay, that's nice. Brownie Magician all run gets oh my god, we got some Brownie Magician buffs, guys. Gets another turn of 30%. They nerfed the Brownie Magician, skill 1. Then we have the Brownie Magician Water Harmless Prank removes 2 beneficial effects. That's nasty. You can't just shield Will into the brownies anymore. That's going to make these Brownie Magicians more meta for Guild War, Guild Siege defense now. Because it was before you could just do shield will. But now it's, oh my god, now it's going to be so nasty. We're going to hate this, by the way. I'm letting you know already. We're going to hate this. Fire Brownie Magician. Whistle, skill change. As this blows a whistle to recover 30% of the attack bar of allies. Gives immunity for 2 turns. Grants 1 out of attack. Buff, defense buff. Increased attack speed of all allies. Now it is increased attack bar. Increase their attack speed for 1 turn and grants immunity for 2 turns. Either attack or increase defense. Okay. So it's not just it's a guaranteed speed buff, and it's either so it's just a 50% chance to get the attack buff or a defense buff versus before it was a 1 in 3 chance. So it's a 1 in 2 chance instead of a 1 in 3 chance. So that's nice. That's nice for anyone that's been doing cleaves, right? Which not too many people doing cleaves anymore. Still people doing them. They're doing them, but there's just less because the cleaves have gotten there's too many counters to cleaves. People have gotten better at countering cleaves throughout the past few seasons. So, Brownie Magician Dark, Kindness Gone Wrong, removes a harmful effect and beneficial effect with a 50% is now 70% chance. 70% chance, guys. It was very much RNG, but I mean, it's still going to be RNG, but 70% chance. That's pretty nasty. That's pretty nasty. This is why, yeah, this is why they had to, this is why they had to nerf the run. Because they buff these things. It's increased damage by 50. Okay, so the light, but this is going to be nice. 70% chance. 70% chance to, like, very much cripple the opponent's team. Because that strips, okay, so it removes the harmful effects and beneficial effects and puts the enemy to sleep. Is what that does for the amount of turns based on the harmful effects removed. So it could potentially make it like a really crazy nasty amount of sleep on the enemies. And then the small grudge increases damage by 50 is now 100% if the enemy's HP is higher than yours when attacking. So basically you just run them as a nuke unit, right? Super fast nuke unit, just like usual, just like you were before. Dark Undyne, Dark Return, effect add if it's used on a living ally, decrease the current HP by 50%. Yourself excluded and grants the turn instantly. This could be good with a water demon. Actually, is what I'm thinking. Could be fun with a water demon. Decreases HP by 50%, grants the turn instantly. Then he's gonna use skill 2, decrease HP even more, and just ignore defense for crazy damage. This could be a nice combination with the water demon. That's what I'm seeing already. Okay, then we have Awakening monsters. Awakening effects of some monsters will be modified. Increases accuracy by 25% for the water on Miyuji. Is now strengthens Burning Soul. Absorb the enemy's skill 1, right? Absorb the enemy's attack bar by 30% with 30% chance when you attack on your turn. Okay. Absorb attack bar. That could be fun. No accuracy though. But Fire 1 strengthens Burning Soul. Skill strengthens, stuns the enemy for 1 turn, 30% chance when you attack on your turn. Okay. And then the Wind 1 increases accuracy is now decrease defense for 2 turns with 30% chance when you attack on your turn. That's nice. You know what? We don't really need we don't need the increased accuracy. I was like, well, we miss out on the extra accuracy. When does it ever work anyway? But also we have the artifacts for accuracy, and they're not units that multi-hit. So we could just have artifacts that increase accuracy, and we can have accuracy in subs, like innates, for runes. So that should be perfectly fine. I think this is better this way. So, and then we have Fire Dragon, Rain of Fire, level 5. Harmful effect rate is now damage instead of harmful effect rate. Okay, Brownie Magician leader skill changed. Okay, so we have some leader skills. Leader skill changed on the Wind Brownie Magician. Aquila increased the accuracy is now increased attack power. This is a unit that we were using. You could use like Bernard, Aquila, Zyros Lucian, right? So now it's going to increase the attack power. I mean, if you were going to use that team anyway, you already had 2 attack power buffing leader skills. But just in case you wanted to use another attack power buffing leader skill or a different team, right? You can just do that. So that's pretty nice. Then we have the Water Harp Magician leader skill resistance increase in guild content. Okay. I still don't see her being used more than she already is. Fire Harp Magician HP is increased in guild content. I think that she could be used more than she actually is, because You know, HP leader skill. She's a unit that was already used in guild content here and there. So now she's got just an HP leader skill, which is speed and HP are the ones that you want in guild content. So that might make her more viable, just slightly more viable in guild content. Then we have the Wind 1 defense value monsters increased by 40% in guild content. 40%. That could maybe that could make like a interesting little trap defense, like Copper Bulldozer trap kind of thing. Defense is not as valuable as HP though. That's my only concern, but that's still 40% for whatever element neutral. So I think the fire one got the best leader skill change of all of those. Then we have skill errors of some monsters will be resolved. These are just bug fixes. So Arcana Tactics patch notice. Why is that in the summoner one thing though? Anyway, so that's it for who won this? You know what? There are some that could have gotten some Christina, Rip Christina. There's some other ones that could have got some changes. Rip Christina though, still unloved, still a meme. I don't really see this as being like super crazy nerf these units to being like unusable or not in the meta anymore. So I think this is just like a little fair balance. I think this is great for the light oracle. I think overall, Onmyuji still need a little bit more. Yeah, in my opinion. What else? Dragons got some cool buffs. Dragons are nice. Brownie magicians. I'm excited about the brownie magicians. And I'm excited about the Polar Queen. I think, you know what? Weirdly enough, I think that the Druid... Is the Druid my favorite buff? Hold on. Of all of these, is the Druid my favorite buff? That would be weird. Right? I feel like that would be weird. I feel like it's my favorite buff, though. Is that Druid. Yeah, I feel like the Druid is my favorite buff. That's crazy. Some people like to use the Draco for cleaves. So if you guys are using Draco for cleaves, let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, I think the Druid might be my favorite buff of the whole thing. Anyway, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was... We already had one not too long ago, though. So it wasn't like we didn't really need a crazy one because we already just had one not too long ago. I like that we're getting them more often, though. That's good. That's keep things fun and entertaining, right? So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll go save some stones for that Pioneer Transmog. And I will see you as always in the next one.